From the 1970s, half a century ago, ExxonMobil was studying climate warming. The journal Science analysed its work and reported that ExxonMobil scientists had accurately projected and skillfully modelled global warming due to fossil fuel burning. In 1986, Shell completed a study of global warming with a report called The Greenhouse Effect. I quote from it: "Climate changes could be larger than any that have occurred over the past 12,000 years. Such relatively fast and dramatic changes would impact on the human environment, future living standards, and food supplies, and could have major social, economic, and political consequences." Did they tell the politicians, I wonder? Well, in 1988, chemistry graduate and former Prime Minister of the UK, Margaret Thatcher, said, "It is mankind and his activities which are changing the environment of our planet in damaging and dangerous ways." These unlikely eco-warriors from the 80s raised the alarm before the parents of today's school children were even born. Why have we done so little since? Incredibly, things are getting worse. The rate of increase in atmospheric CO2 is rapidly accelerating. We passed the Paris landmark of 1.5 degrees of warming in 2023, and we're seeing the results of what Shell, in its 1986 report, called a global experiment. Now, at last, nearly 40 years later, we may have something that could give us a global carbon tax. That the best way to reduce CO2 emissions is through carbon pricing is agreed by economists and business leaders and by observant comedians.
Why not harness market forces to shift the burden of the problem to the people who will benefit financially from solving it? That's what a carbon tax would do. The problem is the emission of carbon into the atmosphere. Tax that, not holidays, not fuel, but emissions, and let the people who deal with making money out of air travel work out how to continue doing so. They'll do it. They're good at it. And once that tax system is instituted, you, the politician, won't have to hug a single tree. You just have to make low emissions part of the profit incentive. Companies won't choose to do it themselves. Why should they? Their job is to make money. Your job is to protect the people who elected you, even if those people also want to go to Portugal for a fiver.
That was from David Mitchell's series of video shorts called Soapbox. In 2026-27, Europe and the UK will introduce levies on imported products that have emitted CO2 when they were being made in other countries. It's called CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. Modest carbon taxes exist, but they don't stop polluting products like iron and cement being made abroad and imported. CBAM will not only level the playing field for business, it will encourage other countries to introduce carbon pricing. That's because if they have their own equivalent carbon pricing, their products may be imported as tax paid. That means that CBAM could trigger a global wave of carbon taxation, and that's a good thing. At long last, we could have serious, self-perpetuating global climate action. Why is CBAM only being introduced in 2026? It's a simple tax, not much different from road fuel duties after all. Well, applying it internationally across a range of products and utilities needs a 2-year introductory reporting-only period. Reporting in the EU started in October 2023, and levies will apply from 2026. During this introductory period, there is a real danger that it could be hobbled by vested interests. Already, there is a feeding frenzy of lobbyists trying to earn fees by getting CBAM diluted, delayed, or demolished. It's important that everybody gets the message that climate warming will only be controlled when it is uneconomic to burn fossil fuels. Global carbon pricing is necessary for this, and it must deal with cross-border trade. CBAM is the first and only realistic initiative towards global carbon pricing. What can you do? You could forward this video, but who wants to see someone as time-worn as Yoda and as lippy as Greta Thunberg? It's far more convincing when you personally tell whomever you can, friends, social networks, colleagues and political representatives, that global carbon taxation with CBAM is long overdue and desperately important. Thank you.